Okay, so like I said in my last video, I really hate doing these, but God's led me to do them. So I ended when I was 3 years old on my last one. So from the age of 3, after Daddy got saved and started preaching, my sister Edna and I had a decent childhood. I mean, you know, parents fight. Ours did so as well. I know I fight with my husband every now and then. But everybody has disagreements. So we had an all right childhood. We lived in numerous places in Kentucky. But we finally moved into what I call the old home place when I was 5. And that's where my Papa John Berry raised my mom and some of her 12 siblings. Not all of them live there, but some of them did. Anyway, so to get on and not ramble, we had a pretty decent childhood. We had loving family, cousins, friends. But then my dad worked in the coal mines. He had done so for years. So I am a coal miner's daughter. And we always knew that we had other siblings because my dad had been married before my mom when he was very, very young. And he had 2 daughters with his previous wife. We did not have custody. We had no visitations. We had never seen them ever in our lives. I do remember I was about 9, I think, when we got a phone call from one of my dad's sisters in Indiana and stated that she had been in contact with my dad's other 2 daughters, which are Vesta and Betty. They're my sisters. And that some things had went on. Their story is not for me to tell. If they feel led to tell it, like I have felt led to tell my story, then, you know, of course I'll share it. And their story is a whole nother aspect of life. But I'm not going to get off on that, because that's their story. And if God leads them to tell it, they'll tell it. But I'm just going to start up in their life where I became part of it. I was 9 and we got that phone call and some things had happened. And Dad had an opportunity at that point to get custody of his 2 girls. And he did, like most husbands probably would. He talked to my mom about it. And then my mom and Dad decided to have a conversation with me and my sister Edna. And then, of course, you know, I was young. Edna was 12, 13, something. I don't remember. I could have been 10. But anyways, that was a long time ago. And that's when Dad said that he had the opportunity for us to meet our sisters that we had never met, and that we had an opportunity to bring them home and live with us. And so he asked how my sister and I felt about that, and we were excited. I mean, we had been the only 2 children for, you know, years, and my sister Edna and I were close. So, you know, bringing sisters in felt like, yay, we were excited. And then I found out that not only were we bringing my 2 sisters in on the ordeal that we didn't know about, but we had a nephew, which was extremely exciting for us. I mean, I love kids. Anybody who knows me knows that I have had a passion for children since I was a child myself. I've always mothered. I love children. So we were excited. So we got to go and visit them in Indiana for a while. We had some supervision visits through the court. And then they saw fit that we could have the girls and Michael. And so they moved to Kentucky with us. And just like any blended family, I mean, you have an adjustment time. It was really, really hard. I mean, I'm not going to say that it wasn't hard. It was extremely hard. It seemed that, and I mean, this is a child's point of view. I was a child. Betty and I got along great. We hit it off. We were both the babies of the family. We hit it off. We got along really good. Vesta and I struggled, but again, she's so much older than me. She tended to hit it off with Edna really well. So then it went from Edna and I being very, very, very close to Edna and Vesta, and then me and Betty. And Mom felt like we gained up on each other, but I mean, we're kids. We're siblings. We all loved each other extremely. I still love them. We don't all talk as often as I would like, but I do anything for any of them. And we had went down to my grandpa's. At this point, by this point in my life, I had already lost my Papa John Barry, my mom's dad, which was extremely hard on us. My mom was the baby of her 12, so I mean, Papa John Barry was always around, and it was extremely hard to lose him. But I still had my Papa Henry, which is my dad's dad, and my mama, Imogene, which is my dad's mom, which were divorced. They were not together. So we would go, and they lived in Williamsburg, Kentucky, which is roughly an hour and 45 minutes or so from where we lived. So we would go, and we would spend the weekends with them every so often. We would spend a night with Papa, and then we'd go over to Grandma's, which was like 25 minutes from his house, and spend the night with her. Well, there have been rumors that my Papa was not a good person. However, I mean, I had spent 10 years of my life around the man, and so had my sister at that point spent 14 years of her life around the man, my sister Edna, and nothing out of the ordinary. So we didn't really know, I guess. He hid his stuff really well. Anyways, this is the thing that my best friend from the last video didn't even know about me. And this is very, very hard. And I'm going to try to get it out before my 15 minutes is up. So we had spent the night with Grandpa. That morning, I got out of bed because my sister Edna and I had shared a bed. And I want to say Betty and Vesta and Michael shared a bed. I could all be wrong about that. But I could have even have slept in the bed with Mom and Dad. I don't remember how our sleeping arrangements were. Because what had happened next was so horrific. I couldn't remember our sleeping arrangements. But anyways, we're all crammed in one room anyway, but you know, we're spending the night with somebody. So, we're crammed in one room. Well, my dad got up, and I got up after my dad because I am a huge daddy's girl. I mean, everywhere Daddy went, I went. I was his shadow. I coon hunted with him. I fished with him. I squirrel hunted. I'm a huge daddy's girl. So like, I felt blessed to have him back, and I wasn't going to let him go. So, yeah, so everywhere Daddy went, I went. So Daddy had got out of bed, and I knew he was going to go rabbit hunting that morning. So, cause we had brought our beagles, and so I got up, and, I was going to go with him, but I have really bad migraines. Even at that age, I had horrific migraines. I mean, like debilitating migraines. And so I felt one of my horrible migraines coming on, And hence why I have this tied around my head right now. I actually have a headache. But anyways, so I felt one of my horrible headaches coming on. So I told Dad, I said, I really want to go, but I think I'm just going to stay here, and, you know, rest a little bit because I'm not feeling well. And so my dad, not thinking anything about it, went ahead and went rabbit hunting. And me not thinking anything about it, my mom and my sisters and my nephew were all in the bedroom sleeping. So, which was a couple of rooms away from the living room, but I was left in there with my grandpa by myself. And I didn't, at that time, know I shouldn't have been. But my grandpa, being the guy he was, I mean, he was always peeling us apples, always being good to us, told me to come over there, that he was going to rub my neck because I had a headache and he was going to try to make me feel better. So, I mean, he's my papa. I mean, what? You wouldn't think anything of it. So, I went over and I sat by him and he started massaging my neck, and then it went to things, and I'm not going to go into great detail, things that shouldn't have happened. This is hard. So I'm going to just say it. My grandpa molested me. He did not have intercourse with me. But his hands went places they should not have went. And, I have bruises in places that he should never even have had his hands on. So I ran and I got in bed with my mom after I got away from him. And, my mom didn't think anything of it. I mean, I didn't say anything. I didn't tell anybody. I just kept going. I kept asking Dad. I said, when are we going to Mama's? I really think we should hurry and go to Mama's. So finally, we went to Mama's, and we didn't even spend the night at Mama's. We come home, and I felt dirty. I felt really, really dirty. So I decided I wanted to shower right away, because I wanted to wash it away. I wanted to wash it down the drain. So I went and showered, and I took a really long time, and my sister Edna come in and checked on me because I was taking a long time. And, she saw all the bruises. She screamed. She told my mom and Dad come in. And then, my dad asked me what I wanted to do. And, I told him I just wanted it to go away. I mean, I was 10. I wanted it to go away. I didn't want to press charges. I was just done. I wanted it to go away. So we didn't press charges. Dad and Mom never took me back around him. He is gone now. He's been dead for a good 6 years, I think. I could be wrong. 6-7 years. Again, I didn't have anything to do with him, so I don't really know. But then it went on that, within a few months, my dad decided that his black lung was so bad from the coal mines that he wanted to move. And I'm not sure. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's almost like we wanted to leave, or I know I felt like I just wanted to leave everything behind. I just wanted a new start. I just wanted to feel not ashamed, even though nobody knew. I didn't want anybody to know. I didn't want anybody to even figure it out. So, we're close to 14.5 minutes. So I am going to leave off there because I can only post 15 minutes at a time, and I'll post a third and we'll start from there.